Welcome back once again. You have reached PayDirt. I am your host, Brandon Harry, aka B-Dirt, here with your host, Pay Saunders. Pay, what's good?
Man, I can't call it, man. It's another great day. That as the days get shorter in between, I get to draft a fantasy team, I start getting my powers back. I start feeling more and more like a Marvel superhero. Is that just me, or is that something every fantasy player feels?
I'll tell you what, as I've gotten older and consequently larger, there's more of me to love, some would say. I look forward to fall for multiple reasons now. It used to be just football. Now I'm like, you know what? I could use the weather not being in the 90s. You know what I mean? I could use a little less humidity. Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting on a hoodie and go watch a football game. That's what I'm looking forward to. But man, it's getting exciting. When's your first draft? You got one yet?
My first draft is cut down day. This the easiest way to. I never do a draft prior to cut down day. This year, because my yearly family trip is the same as Labor Day weekend, I had to move one of my drafts up. So cut down day will be draft number 1. And then after that, I've got 3 more.
Man, those are good words to live by. I hope my boy Shannon Plew is listening, because I got his draft tomorrow.
Tomorrow, huh? Some last minute studying got going on?
There's no doubt there's a reason why I said, you know what, Pay, let's do this show on the 19th, because I got a draft on the 20th. But it's better than, he tried to do it on a Friday night, and everybody said no to that. I said, I'll be podcasting. I'll be doing the homies Friday night. And he said, why don't you do the draft live? And I was like, you'd like that.
You know what? I think Shannon's onto something. I think you should reconsider. Do the draft live. I can take a dat day or a PTO day, because that's all the content we need. I would just go ahead and get up out of here.
There ain't no damn way I'm going to do a show with you and Tate and watch you guys watch me draft live a week and a half before our draft.
No,
sir.
No, you got something. You got some facts wrong. One, I wouldn't be there because like, no, there's no reason for me to do that. And 2, not only is there's no way you would watch us do a show watching you, no one else will watch that either.
Oh man, it'd be rough, wouldn't it?
It would be very rough. You would do a lot of heavy lifting as far as keeping the entertainment value of that broadcast going.
I know there's a lot of people that like watching us react live to the actual NFL draft, but fantasy draft, I don't know, man.
It's one of the most aggravating conversations in America. Like me, I like fantasy. I could talk. Somebody brings up their fantasy team, I will talk to you about it. I like having fantasy conversations, but I understand I'm in the minority.
Yeah, I listen too, because I'm trying to kind of catch a nugget from somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you thinking some way I haven't thought before? So
correct.
So how many leagues are you in this year?
4.
Okay. I'm in 3. Unfortunately, one of my favorite leagues disbanded a few years ago, and
that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad. But there was good reason for it.
Okay.
It is what it is. But it was one of my favorite types of leagues too. You know what I mean? And that makes it a little more special.
Yes, it does.
More special for it.
It's a good thing that it was a good reason that it disbanded, because all the leagues that I know that disbanded, they're for good reasons.
Normally it's petty BS.
Petty BS, or 90% of the time, the commissioner ran off with the funds.
Oh, man, that's rude. That's rude. No, we everybody got paid in this one. We're good. But hey, listen, man, that kicks me into something I've been wanting to ask. Let's do a top 5 fantasy football league types.
It's a great question.
Can you we'll explain a little bit about the leagues real quick for those that don't know, or maybe you're just in a regular league or whatever. Pay can give you a little rundown here of different types. And then Pay and I, we just go back and forth, 5-5, 4-4. What do you think? Something like that?
I'm excited this year because this is the first time me doing multiple leagues and that all of them different. They're different based on their format and they're different. They're always different based on scoring format, but now they're different based on two specific types of league format, the roster and the longevity format and the draft format. So the league me and you are in is a redraft league. The other league that I specified that I got to do the last weekend of this month, it is also a redraft league, but it's a live in-person draft. So that makes that one a little bit more difficult because that clock, it puts a lot of extra pressure on you. I'm also in a guillotine league for the first time. I can't wait for that. And I'm also in a dynasty draft. Love that. So I'm going to run down some other types of draft so we can before we can talk about which ones we like the best. So redraft, like I specified, that is the most common type of fantasy football draft. You draft a new team annually. There's no carryover. However you determine you're going to your draft order, that's up to how fun your league is. There's a dynasty. I mentioned that one too. You keep those rosters. Not the whole roster. Well, I mean, some leagues are different. You can keep the whole roster. You can have an annual rookie draft. You can designate a certain amount of keepers. That's how you do that. And that goes to another type of league, a keeper league, where you only retain a small number of players, or you can retain no players whatsoever. Just I'm gonna draft a whole new team because my team sucked last year. Just something like that. There's also a best ball type of league. This is a draft only. No weekly lineups, no head-to-head matchups. You set your best lineup, and the highest score of the week wins. Now, those are the type of draft formats. Let's talk about scoring formats. I mean, B&B, we're in a what I like to think is the best type of scoring format, PPR. Full PPR, you get 1 point per reception. B, I don't know how long you've been playing. Were you around prior to the advent of the PPR?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I was too.
The traditional standard league. Yeah.
Did not like those 4 point for touchdowns. That's kind of not fun. Show me numbers. I like numbers. Don't give me no 86 to 82 final scores. I like numbers. Please. Standard.
And when those standard leagues were there without the PPR, it was also as the league was transitioning into more of a passing league. So people were just fighting over running backs and wide receivers were just inconsequential.
Exactly. Which makes no sense, right? It's a passing league now. So let's make the wide receivers a little more juicy. I hope no one's listening to that because that is the name of the game. Right. So we explain standard, we explain PPR, half PPR, pretty much self-explanatory. Instead of a full point per reception, you get a half point per reception. There's leagues with IDPs, individual defensive players. That's where you draft a defensive player as opposed to drafting a whole defense. Now, you can draft a defense and a select number of defensive players. That depends on the type of league that you're in. The league that I specified that I'm doing, the live draft league that I'm doing, we don't draft defensive players in that league. We draft 4 IDPs, 1 down lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back, and another flex type of draft IDP. Adds a little bit more stakes to it. You got to do your homework. And that's pretty much all the scoring formats, but there's also different type of draft formats. This is the last type of format. You have snake drafts, which is this is this industry standard. You have 1 to 12 or 1 to 10, 1 to 8, however many players are in your league, and then you reverse the draft order. So 1 to 12, then 12 back down to 1, then 1 back down to 12, so on and so forth until the draft is over. You have a salary cap and auction league, which everybody's given a certain amount of dollars, and you bid on the players that you want to draft. If you want to draft Bijan Robinson and you have $500 to blow and you put $499 on him, hey, that's your decision. Now, how you going to fill out that roster with $1 left? We're going to figure it out. We all going to see it together, right? You ever did an auction league, B?
I have. It was quite interesting. And there might have been some very spirited gentlemen at the one I was at where the spirits were flowing. Let's just say that. And it got a little bit crazy because it's hard enough to really, it's hard to like figure out the strategy and how much you're going to bid on who and where, you know, what's more important to you, your bidding. And then you start mixing some alcohol on top of it. Everything gets a little bit weird. You know what I mean? So yeah, poor decisions were made, to say the least.
And that's why we love fantasy. It's an excuse to drink and it's an excuse to see your homies make poor decisions with sports involved and money involved. That's the best. That's the best. Why it's one of the best parts of the summer. Last type of draft league, daily fantasy. Daily fantasy is a lot less of a more congenial, but it's a lot less more congenial, but it is somewhere where you always got stakes. You never have to deal with a bad roster for too long. So you are building new lineups daily or weekly, however it's presented to you. So that's pretty much all the types of leagues they are. So B, while I filibustered that whole time, you want to do a countdown of your top 5 favorite leagues?
So listen, most leagues are snake drafts, right? It's more about the point system for the most part, with a couple of exceptions in my difference in type of leagues. But my first one is going to go best ball. It's 5 for me. Number 5 is the best ball league. And it made me remember I am in 4 leagues. I'm married into a 4th league. I totally forgot. But it's a best ball league. And that's the beauty of it. I'm a busy man. This is one that I can just draft and then forget about it. It just plays itself. Whoever had the best day that day for your wide receiver, boom, goes into wide receiver 1. So second one, third one, so on and so forth. I don't have to fill out my lineup. I don't have to babysit that one. I like that. Still a little smack talk and whatever, and that's it.
Best ball is also called a points league, too. My keeper league, my dynasty league, it's also a points league. And I would say that is number 5 because there is some roster construction you got to put into it. You got to watch who's available, who's getting hurt, like that. But you want to hit the free agent waters when they're available. However, without the weekly competition, it loses a little bit. It doesn't get exciting until in the later rounds of the season, where there's money, when the stakes are higher and there's money on the table. That's when you can start seeing like, okay, I'm third. I gotta watch your roster to see, how you compete versus what I gotta see my guys. I'm making moves based on what you're doing because I'm in third, you're in for second. I'm trying to leapfrog you. Yeah, that's how that goes. But all in all, still fun, but it's got to be number 5. I'm gonna start the number 4 one. Number 4, daily fantasy. Daily fantasy is good if you're bad at fantasy. I'm gonna say it. If you're bad at season long fantasy, then daily fantasy is for you. I'm not bad at season long fantasy. I don't want to toot my own horn. I think you know about my bona fides.
You got some.
I could do this. I have no time for daily fantasy, all that stuff. It's a good time waster. It's a different discipline for daily fantasy, and I just haven't figured it out. No shade to it. I just haven't figured that out. I'm going to put it at number 4.
My number 4, you're doing it for the first time this season, the Guillotine League.
You got it at number 4?
I got it at number 4. And I'm going to tell you why. I've done a Guillotine League 2 seasons. And the first one, I was the first one out. Boom, bounce, done. Forget about it. Thanks for coming. We appreciate the deposit. The second season, I finished second. So I won a little bit of money, but guess which one hurt worse? Running the table all the way to that final one, bounced. Oh man, ripped my heart out. It's just no bueno. It's suspenseful. It's intense. You live and die by every week with it. It's not like the stakes are much higher week to week than they are in a regular league. So that's the reason why I've got it at 4, because I like that. But the anguish I went through I have to leave it at 4, not higher.
I feel that.
3 through 1 are real close. This is razor thin for win, place, and show right here. 3, I'm going to go PPR. Just a regular PPR snake draft. I'm going to put it at 3. It's what I play the most of. I do enjoy it. But I think there's a couple better options out there. That's all I'm saying.
My number 3 will have to be salary cap. A salary cap league is fun. But once you get past the draft shenanigans, like we talked about earlier, guys getting drunk and guys overvaluing certain players to the detriment of the rest of their roster. Once you get past that, it's just a regular league. So the novelty of it isn't as fun after the draft. But because does still have regular league DNA in it, you can still have some fun. But after draft, it's just no different from a redraft at that point.
Yeah. True.
Number 2, I'm going to go guillotine. And I've never done guillotine before. I've said this is my first year, but I'm so excited for it. And everything you said, I can see that being heartbreaking. Now, you've done survival leagues before?
Yes.
I've lost in the first week. I've lost on the week where everybody picked the same team, and like 80% of the league is done at week 6 because we all picked the Broncos when they got upset by some Rudy Poo. And I've went down to the wire and lost in the last week with the guy. And one of those in that year, I had an offer on the table. Hey, you want to just split this pot? I said, no, I go for the glory. I want it all. I want none. I should have took some. I should have took some because Josh Allen chose to have the worst game of his season. It was against Miami, I think it was. And it cost me. I had saved the Buffalo Bills for this week and they cost me. So I know that pain, but I desire the hunt. Hey, with the Guillotine League, you try to have more players than a standard amount of a regular league. You try to get about 16 so you can cut somebody every week, right? So every week, the free agent pool gets better and better. So you start with a very blasé mid team, but by the time you get to like week 4, week 5, you got some super teams out here, and it gets really crazy. So I hope I'm still standing coming around week 8, week 9. I hope it gets to that point. And if it doesn't, I can't wait till next year.
Yeah, it's a while. When I will tell you this, though, you brought it up. If you're in a league with me and we're down to the final 2, and you're thinking about chopping it, save your breath. The only person I'm chopping a pot with is taking care of my dogs right now. And she can have half of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's like legally bound to half of it now. But you know what? May the best team win. I'd rather lose than chop. I'm not down with it.
I don't understand those type of people. Yeah. What are you doing? What kind of man are you?
Yeah. It ain't my style. All right. My number 2, second favorite, my second favorite type of fantasy football league. This was probably going to surprise you. I prefer half PPR. I think it bunches because, like you said, so many passes are caught now. Like you see, we've seen 130, 145 receptions for some wide receivers. 120 is not unheard of. Everybody, like, there's more over 100, way more over 100 than there used to be. And for that reason, I want to bunch it back a little bit. I just want it to be a little bit closer. I want the running backs and the wide receivers and everybody to be a little bit more bunched up as far as what their point values are. That's just my personal preference.
I see. As a commissioner, I can get with that. What's the number 1 league?
My number one league is the one that has perished because somebody won it back-to-back seasons, and that's how we wiped our dynasty out.
Wow.
The dynasty league that I was in was fantastic. We did not keep the entire roster, though. We did, I think you kept 8 players and then redrafted the rest. So you basically kept a starting unit together for the most part, redrafting. But the way we put it in is everybody paid in at the beginning of the year. Half of the pot came out and got split between first and second place. I think it was a 75-25 split, if I'm not mistaken. And then the other half of the pot went into a savings account. You talk about somebody could have walked off with some cash. This thing went on for about, I think, 13 years before it cashed out. So it was good money paid out to the person who finally got the dynasty back to back. So to create the dynasty, you have to win back to back seasons, and then you take all the reserve cash, and the league starts over.
I love that.
Yeah, it was my favorite league, and I've thought about trying to get that going again, but unlike you, I don't want to be the commish. I don't want to do that. So if you want to start up a dynasty, and you got my number, get at me. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, we might have to talk off screen. My favorite, there's no suspense into this. I think the industry standard stands the test of time. The redraft league is still everybody's favorite. Like I said, I'm in 4 different leagues this year, and the league that's getting the most pop is the redraft league. I think more people are more just more familiar, and I think that's because that's what you see on TV, what you read in the fantasy books. Yeah, redraft leagues is just easier for everyone to grasp, and it's because it's easier for everyone to grasp. It's more fun because more people are more involved. More people are available for it. You got to have your hardcore degenerates that do the other type of leagues, the dynasties, the guillotines, auctions, stuff of that nature. And it's kind of hard to keep those, let alone find those players, but to keep those players together for a season after season. So redraft would be the number one for me because you will never have a shortage of players.
Most of what I am in and am talking about is a redraft. Just I talked a little bit more about points. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, a good redraft is tough to beat. It's just tough to beat. And welcome back to PayDirt. We are doing our fantasy football special. We have covered what we like as far as the types of leagues, but we haven't talked anything about our philosophies, what we think of players this year. So let's get into it, man. I want to talk a little bit about just some philosophies, maybe 2026, maybe philosophies for 2026 and beyond. As the league shifts, and right now we're seeing it go back to more, 12 personnel, more tight ends on the field, more running. The Shanahan offenses. You got a running first coach there from Detroit there in Chicago now. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a run first guy. So you're starting to see a little bit more of that throughout the league. My team probably still going to throw it 70% of the time, and I don't want to talk about it. So you got to keep changing your philosophies when you're drafting, especially the draft philosophies from year to year. I'll start us off with one that I've got right now. I don't see a quarterback worth, and I think there's going to be a few of them or a handful of them that could have really good years. Don't get me wrong. One of them is going to win the MVP. But I don't see where I want to draft a quarterback early this year.
Define early.
Definitely not the first 2 rounds. I would say round 3 to 6 is going to be hard for me to take one. Top 5 quarterbacks, if they're there in round 5 or 6, I may think about it. But I don't think that's going to be there for me, right? And here's the reason why, man. I look at Joe Burrow's missed a lot of games. Lamar Jackson's missed a lot of games. Josh Allen, I mean, how long can the run keep? I mean, he keeps running into brick walls. Sooner or later, I feel like he's going to miss games. There's some Patrick Mahomes has missed some games. I'm not sure what to expect with him. I'm not sure what to expect with his wide receiver core. There's just too many question marks. Jaden Daniels, we've seen slippage. I expect the Patriots to have slippage this year because they're playing better teams. Matthew Stafford is in an offense where they're going to predominantly try to run the ball. I just have a hard time taking those guys early this year. Your thoughts on that?
Overall, my philosophy is always be fluid. I have a hard desire for certain things I want to do in the draft based on what my draft position is. However, you can't
have absolutes.
Right. You can't have absolutes because you can't prepare for the unknown. The unknown is the 11 other players in your league. Some people like to reach. There will always be at least 2 reachers in your league. You'll always be. So if you're planning to get a quarterback, let's say in round 4, that quarterback you're looking for may not be there because somebody else is trying to draft quarterback in round 1. And then once someone breaks the seal on a position, but I'm going to stick to what you're talking about. Drafting quarterbacks early. It is a popular philosophy to do just like you said, B. So you just wait on quarterbacks because usually by the end of the season, quarterbacks 1 through let's say 1 through 7 are separated by a minuscule amount of points. The separation between the top 12 quarterbacks is never really that large. Now, granted, there are outliers. If you have a transformational season out of somebody like Pat Mahomes did, his MVP year, and some other guys, Lamar Jackson, those type of guys are league winners. But those are not a year-on-year type of thing that you would get from a quarterback. You can get similar numbers from quarterback 1 and quarterback 5. So you can get quarterback 5 a little bit later in like round 7. Therefore, you're not really missing out too much. And you make up the ground by having better running backs, better wide receivers, a better tight end, perhaps. Those skill positions that make up the gap between having a lesser quarterback. Now, me in particular, I kind of like to have a top quarterback. I like to have a top 3 quarterback. So I'm looking for a quarterback around the turn in that round 3. Now, that is dependent on if the quarterback seal hasn't been broken. If the quarterback run hasn't started, then yeah, look for me to get one in round 3. That's where I'm going. I'm going to get my top running back and top wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. Granted, I'm in a draft position where I can get 1 and 2 before I can get a quarterback. I like to have those 3 buttoned up. I might go wide receiver. Or I'll go running back. It's all dependent on where you're at. And that's what I'm talking about, being fluid in your draft positions. But I would like to have that top 3-ish quarterback in round 3 if that presents itself.
Which one of your philosophies do you like?
A philosophy that's has been good to me the few times I've used it is 0 RB. That is when you punt on a running back position altogether for the first 6 or 7 rounds. And then you hammer that running back for the next 4 to 5 rounds consistently. Now, it takes a strict discipline to do this. You are going to have a lot of wide receivers. You're going to have maybe 2 tight ends. You're going to have your quarterback. You are going to be stout at those positions before you start getting running backs. And I think this is a great philosophy because we see year in and year out young running backs come into the league and have success early on. Rookie running backs, first-year running backs that are don't have the same name cachet to get them in the first 2 rounds, but they're still the starting running back for their team. They're just on shakier ground. I'm thinking like a James Conner. You know what I mean? Somebody like that may have some injury history, may be in a timeshare with somebody. You can still grab those guys in round 7 and then go ahead and get their handcuff in round 8. Set yourself up for success. But again, this is what I talked about in the last thing. you're going to be so good at wide receiver and quarterback that you make up the difference from what you have at running back. And once you hammer the running backs in the later rounds, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe even so, you have a lot of variability. Okay, if this running back didn't work the first week, flip him out. You're not beholden to a running back just because if you drafted a running back number 2 overall, he doesn't start off the season hot. You're going to keep running him out there because of how much you spent on him. You spent the number 2 pick on him. My number 1 running back, I didn't get him to the 7th round. If he don't show out for me the first week, I could throw him away and get somebody else.
I don't mind that one. I like that one. It's not something I've done. I always kind of, like you said, I'm pretty fluid, so I don't stick to much of that. I find it easier to do with a quarterback and not panic. I could see wanting to hit the panic button on running back, so staying steadfast to it. It's got to be a little. You got to be heels dug in.
Yes, you do.
Heels dug in.
You got to trust the process. Shout out to Philadelphia 76ers.
I'm going to give you another one because this is one that's burnt me in the past. I've went against this mindset and it's burnt me in the past. I want to go against this mindset again this year, but I've done some research that's made me start rethinking it, right? If you don't get somebody on your tight end Rushmore for this season, that you should wait until later rounds to pick up tight ends and basically take 2 flyers, see if you get one of them to break. Now I'm almost thinking maybe go 0 tight end philosophy. Maybe do the same thing you're talking about with running back with tight end. And here's the reason why. Out of the top 20 receiving yards, best receiving yards for a tight end season in the NFL, out of the top 20, there's 15 different names on it. The only people that have repeated are Mr. Taylor Swift, Tony Gonzalez, Rob Gronkowski. Those are the only repeats in the top 20. I mean, you start reading some of these names, you got Waller, Bowers, L. Taylor in 1961. Jay Smith from 1967.
I remember him.
Graham, McBride, Todd Christensen, Kevin Winslow.
I don't know that fool.
Mark Andrews, George Kittle. So, you saw me fall. I fall flat on my face last year because I get Kittle and he gets hurt. And I screwed the pooch at tight end. So, it's almost like, do you find the next, who's the next tight end? I think the tight ends get hurt a lot, even if they don't miss the season. They get banged up and have 4 or 5 stretches of games where they're just not themselves. They're really used more for blocking than they are pass receiving. What are your thoughts on that?
I like any philosophy. It's not a bad philosophy until it doesn't work, right? For me, a 0 tight end philosophy has historical. It has its place, but I do think the league is trending in a different direction. I think there's an opportunity for you have a lot of tight ends out there who are going to be on the field. A lot. Now there's a juggling thing going on now because there are a lot of teams going out there at 12 and 13. You're going to have a lot of tight ends making a lot of plays, but that just means there's going to be a lot less tight ends dominating. That means you don't necessarily need to draft a tight end early, to your point, because there's only going to be maybe 2 that are going to give you a top 20 value. When I say top 20, that's a 3rd round pick. If you're playing a 12-team league, majority of tight ends, they're going to be decent, but they're only going to return 6th round value at best. So you can wait a little bit. You can still get a tight end that can hold his own against anybody else in the league, but you don't need to spend a type of money. So to your credit, it can work out.
All that said, I'm taking Colson Love in the 3rd. Go ahead.
You go.
Yeah.
The last philosophy I want to put out there, it's not necessarily a real philosophy. It's a pay attention to the board philosophy. You got to know your opponents. You don't need to know them intimately. You don't need to pay for the type of subscriptions that I've paid for in the past to just get some inside information on how your league drafts. You can do that if you like, but all you got to do is just watch how they draft. If you're drafting number 10 in a 12-team league, just watch how the draft is flowing. You're seeing everybody going running back, running back, running back, running back. I think you really know what's on their mind. So if everybody's zigging, you gotta understand that you're gonna have to zag. You're gonna have to zag to stand out. You're gonna have to zag to have a team that's going to be competitive. You're going to have to go ahead and grab that wide receiver. Grab double up on wide receiver. Grab the quarterback first. Everybody going running back. I'm not saying grab quarterback in the first round. No. Remember what I said prior to that. You're going to have to do the things that the draft board is pushing you towards. You don't just don't follow into the trend. If there's a running back, if there's a run on tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, whatever, you stay the course. You understand what you came here to do it.
That's solid words. And you know what? And know your opponent. You know what I mean? Like, know your opponent. Most of the time you're in these, a lot of times, I should say, no, maybe not most, a lot of times you're in these with people fairly intimately, good friends for years. You know which ones are going to make emotional decisions. You know which ones are going to reach on their players because he's going to have a breakout season at running back. Like, you know who those people are. Let them go. I'm a Bengals fan. You know, I don't reach for Bengals players. I'm perfectly content. I'll take the Bengals kicker at the end of the year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give them to me in round 11. Whatever. Just a Bengals player on my team's kind of cool. But if I don't have one, I don't care. I'm watching the Bengals game to watch the team. I'm watching all the rest of the football to watch my players.
Right. And to that point, you know your opponent's biases. Like you said, that's what you're speaking toward. You know their biases. And biases work two ways. You're biased for guys that you like, and you're also biased against other players. In the league we play in together, B, I know everybody's got a bias against the quarterback that I drafted. Caleb Williams. Everybody took all the quarterbacks in front of him. Everybody took the quarterbacks that I wanted to draft. They took them earlier than I was prepared to draft. So I was like, okay, fine. I know I have Caleb Williams in my back pocket at the end of the draft. I ain't got to worry about it. I came and got Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams put up a top 7 fantasy season for that league.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Easy pickings. All right, well, let's talk about some individual players, man. Who do you got trending up these days to keep an eye on and maybe depending on where they fall in the draft? It's always contingent on that. But players that you want to keep your eye on, if you can get good value in them versus their ADP, who do you like in this upcoming 2026 fantasy football draft?
Is it too late to say Jackson Smith-Njigba?
It's a PPR league, right?
Yeah.
That's what most people are playing. Who do you like in that? You like JSN?
Is it too late to say that? After
1,750 yards? Nah.
Yeah, it might be a little too. I think the word is out on JSN. How about this? When you say trending up, I'm thinking for guys who are kind of under the radar, maybe coming off a down year, maybe coming off an injury-plagued year. So I've got 2 names that come to mind, and they play on the same team. Ashton Shanti and Brock Bowers.
Ooh, I like Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, his sophomore season was injury plagued with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I want to remind everybody, when he was a rookie and he was the number 1 guy in that offense, he was a dog. He was a record-setting tight end dog. I'll ask you this question, B. What is the not the best friend of a rookie quarterback. What is the second best friend of a rookie quarterback?
Second best friend of a rookie quarterback? I would say the best friend of a rookie quarterback would be his left tackle or his blindside tackle. And I would say the second one would be somebody who catch the ball between the numbers, like a security blanket tight end.
Of course. That check down guy, that guy just goes out there, gets 7 yards, turns around. That guy that helps a quarterback who's still learning pre and post snap coverage, somebody who's dependable, a tight end and a rookie quarterback go better. They go together better than ham and cheese. I like Brock Bowers just because of that. He's healthy. He's already shown you he can play in this league. So to that point, I think Brock Bowers is a good sneaky tight end that people may not be thinking about. Might be able to find some good value on him and his teammate, the sophomore Ashton Jonty. I didn't like Ashton Jonty as a rookie. He was going way too early in drafts because the Raiders are going to be garbage. A running back on a garbage team, it doesn't have good historical outcomes. Now you put Ashton Johnson, who built up a callus as a professional. He understands the game a little bit better. He is a dual threat running back. He can catch up the backfield too, as well run. Now with some more weapons around him, Brock Bowers is back. They got a new quarterback, 2 new quarterbacks, as a matter of fact. They've upgraded the line a little bit. Shout out to Tyler Linderbaum. Expect Ashton Johnson to build on that rookie campaign. Now, his numbers actually as a rookie weren't bad. But as a sophomore, I expect him to go up even more.
I like that. I like that call. It's a couple of pretty good picks from you. I've got a couple myself. One, I always like flyers on rookies, right? Mm-hmm. You start looking at rookies that maybe aren't getting all the hype. I know, listen, the Denver Broncos have, was it PJ Harvey? Harvey is their starting running back. There's been a lot of talk about him.
RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey, that's it. I'm sorry. They like to be a run the ball first team. Run the ball, play action pass, da-da-da. I'm telling you, Jonah Coleman, the bowling ball out of Washington at 5'8", 220 plus, is going to be somebody that Sean Payton likes. He's going to get a yin and yang. He's going to take some good snaps there. Now, I don't think he's going to be somebody I'd rather get him as a RB3, use him in my flex, and maybe later in the season he gets more carries. But I like that kid a lot. So that's number one for me is Jonah Coleman. Number two, I'm going to give you 2 wide receivers. I'm going to splash one in here because he started to get way too much publicity, and I think he's going to go higher in the draft than I'm willing to go up for him to get. And that's Parker Washington from Jacksonville. Ooh. If you play in a league that maybe Jacksonville's a team that's under the radar and you don't have people that are hip to him, then go ahead and get him if you can I like him as a wide receiver too, or I love him as a wide receiver flex option. He did real well for me last year when I picked him up. The other one I like, and you're not going to like hearing this, man, I think Christian Watson's going to have a good year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So he's had some injury history. But if he can put together a healthy season, I think they've made some room for him, and I think he's going to have a really great year. You look at like his average yards per play, average yards per route ran, all those kind of things. He's got some of those good stats. I would definitely take a flyer on it for where he's going ADP wise.
Okay.
I'll give you one more trending up because it's going to lead into my trending down. Deshaun Stribling. I got him trending up. You know the reason why?
Why is that?
Because there's a electrical plant in San Francisco, taking out players right and left. Mike Evans is banged up, beat up. CMC, he's down. He's tight. He can't play. They've got another wide receiver out. I don't know, man. Ricky Pearsall coming back from injury. I've liked what I've seen out of Deshaun Stribling. The young man's played pretty well so far, training camp and preseason. I think he's going to get more targets because he just got to. They brought Debo back. Things are going so bad out there. Debo might end up playing running back if CMC can't go. I don't know, man. It's a mess.
True.
Avoid Mike Evans. Avoid CMC. And you know I had him last year.
Mm-hmm. Told you not to do it. Told you not to do it.
He wasn't my downfall.
True.
Who do you want to avoid?
Shout out to the Ohio State. I had this player on my team, one of my teams last year. I thought he was going to be my steal of the draft because of where I got him. I drafted him to be my wide receiver 4. And he was putting up the first month and a half of the season, he was my wide receiver 1. Emeka Egbuka. He's got so much potential, and he plays in an offense that is high octane, and he gets a lot of targets. But the problem is, can he stay healthy? Mike Evans is gone now. I'm expecting him to do work, but now the latest news on him is he may or may not be ready for week 1. I'm going to push away from the table because once he got hurt last year, he was never the same. He was hurt all the time from that point on. That just tells me that once he has an injury, the injury is going to linger. And I don't need lingering injuries on my squad, especially if I draft a guy who I expect to lead his position. I'm going to stay away from Emeka Egbuka, at least at his ADP.
If you had to pick an injury that lingers around longer than most, what just comes to mind? Lingering injuries.
Calf.
I like that. Soft tissue injuries.
I hate those. The Bears have too many of those.
What about hammies?
Yes, hamstrings take 6 weeks for your at least 6 weeks for your back ready. People come back too early from hamstrings and they linger because they're back too early. You need at least 6 weeks for it to even heal. 6 weeks in a football season is an eternity.
Yep. And 3 weeks ago, I would have had this kid on trending up, and today I have him on avoid. Jordan Tyson. I don't like hearing that you're going to probably miss the start of the season because you have a partial tear to your hamstring or hamstring problems. That's not a good look for you coming in on your rookie deal. He's going to miss a lot of time there getting used to Tyler Shuck. I got him on my avoid list because of it. Hopefully Olave and those guys can stay healthy because I think there's a lot of points to be had on that offense there in New Orleans. But I don't think Jordan Tyson, a little iffy for me.
That's true.
What else you got?
Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Not only, his ADP is putting him around the round 5. I don't like that. Obviously, because Jaden Daniels thinks only he can carry the number 5. But having him as an ADP number in the round 5, I think that's too high. I think there's some questions that can arise from Jaden Daniels. One, I don't like this distraction coming around between him and LSU. I don't think it would be a big deal as he's getting ready for the season, but it is a distraction nonetheless. I had concerns about his longevity, his rookie season. And when I say longevity, I'm specifically talking about his ability to be a top quarterback. A lot of the stuff looked like college-y gimmicks from him and his offensive coordinator, Kingsbury. Kingsbury's gone now. And we all know, if we watch Kingsbury enough, we know his offenses have a shelf life before he gets figured out and they start pummeling him. Now, he didn't get out of Dodge before it got figured out. But based on Jaden Daniels, the distraction going on between him and LSU right now, all the injuries he had last year, he has a slight frame, which tells me injuries are going to be a part of his story maybe for a long time of his career. And two, he's got a different offensive philosophy, different OC going on. I'm not going to be banking. I'm not going to put any money behind his resurgence this season. Won't be for me. Can't be the quarterback of my team.
I'm going to tell you something. It strikes a personal nerve. I've never understood, like, when you're in a relationship or you see people in a relationship and they're always like, oh, I talked to his mother, or they broke up, I still talk to his mother, or, my mom's got to do this for me, or my mom wants me to do this, or my mom. I've never understood that stuff. I have a great relationship with my mother. I talk to her almost every day. Shout out, Dar. Love you to death. My mother is not making decisions for me as a grown-ass man. Man, stop letting your mother tell you that nobody should be able to wear number 5 at Louisiana. A lot of people wore it before you were there. A lot of people wore numbers before anybody else was there. Numbers aren't infinite. There's only a certain amount. There's 2 numbers that fit on the back of a jersey, respectfully. Stop trying to. We have too many of them retired now. Some of them are going to go back into the well anyway. Stop all this foolish nonsense with the number 5. That's all I got with that one. The last thing I wanted to do here, I think we give some snippets to people for people to look into, people to avoid. I put this on you last minute. There's some volatile teams right now out there in the NFL, some teams that we don't know where they're going to land. They're going to be a big swing difference between their floor and their ceiling, right? And those are a little bit harder to predict what you're going to get from those teams and what you're going to get from those players. So I'm going to let you, because I have a couple of them in mind, I'm going to let you throw a team to me that you want me to give my gut reaction here, just as you throw it out to me, on what they're going to look like offensively and if they've got players that I think are worth picking at their ADP or not.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. Woo! Hot button subject. Man. Rico Dowdle had a couple 200-yard games at Carolina last year. I think because that they're expecting a lot of them. I still think Warren is probably the safest play there. I think he's going to be more of the third down back, too. He catches the ball well out of the backfield. He blocks well. I think Warren, not a huge high upside, but I think he's probably the most solid take on that team for like an RB4.
Did you say the backup running back is the safest play on a team? Yikes.
So listen, I don't know. I just offensively, do I think they're going to win some games? Yes. Offensively, I just don't know who I trust there, right? DK Metcalf, I don't know. See, the problem with him is he does his best work outside of the numbers. And Aaron Rodgers, for the past 3-4 years, has not been throwing the ball outside the numbers. They went and got the young man
Pittman
from the Colts. He does run a little bit more of the seams. He could be an upside there. But last year I saw him run a seam route and got decleated, and I was worried he might be dead. So how much are you going to do that? I just don't know how to trust the offense. Also, I keep hearing about their offensive line is going to be much improved the last 3 years, and it just has not gotten much improved. As a matter of fact, I work on a podcast where I consistently hear about how the Bengals are going to get Joe Burrow absolutely killed, even though statistically last year the Bengals had a better offensive line than the Steelers did. I don't know, man. It is what it is. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Everything Pittman showed me in Indianapolis, he is easy to defend. DK Metcalf, he is a great one-on-one receiver, but you need a quarterback who can get you the ball in those spaces where he can only he can catch the ball. I don't believe the Pittsburgh Steelers have that. I agree. I would take Warren over anybody
Yeah.
on that team.
At least I think I know what I get from him, right? I think
Yes.
I plug him in. He's going to give me points at a flex position or a substitute position. He's going to get me solid points every week. May flash to a 13, 15-point game, but he's going to get me, I don't know, 7 to 11 every game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right. Here's who I got for you. The upside for mine, I think, is a little bit higher, but I also think there's an opportunity here to be catastrophic and things blow up. They lost A.J. Brown, and everybody thinks they're going to be better because they got Lemon, and they sniped him in front of those Pittsburgh Steelers you were talking about. What's your take on the Philadelphia Eagles?
Ooh, I don't have many good things to say about this team, but I'm gonna keep it fantasy relevant. I traditionally do not draft Philadelphia Eagles. It's been a thing with me. I don't trust Jalen Hurts from a quarterback perspective. I would never have him as my quarterback because he doesn't give me good quarterback numbers. And in addition to that, he kind of puts a cap on the wide receiver output too. You saw that with A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was better as a Titan. You see that's with Devontae Smith. He has one good game every year. One. You can set your clock to the one good game that he has every year. Other than that, he's what, 3 catches? 3 catches that you didn't even, that you were blinking and missed. The running back, Saquon Barkley. He's never going to have a 2,000-yard season again. If I can't get Saquon Barkley and then hope that he's going to lead my team to with some type of fantastic season, that it's in between somewhere what he did last year and the year in his first season with the Eagles, because he has a high variance, right? If it isn't Saquon, then it isn't anybody. Nobody.
I like that. And depending on your league, Saquon, I mean, does he stick around to the second round?
No, I don't think there's any leagues.
In the second, but I'm not taking him in the first.
Yeah, if I don't, because he's a top. I would say Saquon Barkley is probably not going to make it past. He probably won't make it past the turnaround going from 1 to 2. I can make an argument that he's a back of the first round draft pick, and if I have pick 11, which means I would have pick 14 in I have a pick as 11 and 14. Saquon, I expect Saquon to be there. I'm going to pass him up because other players, I would Chase Brown. I want some Chase Brown. I would take Chase Brown.
He's going to catch some passes too.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts also seemed to me, he was getting some rushing yards, his first few seasons in the league. And I think like last season, you started seeing the rushing yards go down. You still see a tush push here and there, but for the most part, you see like his RPO game and everything. That kind of, he doesn't want to run the ball. I think he proved that last year. Mm-hmm. He wants to be a pocket passer, but doesn't drive the ball down the field and throw the ball outside as much as the other wide receivers would like him to. And they end up reading books instead of playing football. All right. You know what? I think we see that one the same way too. It's unfortunate. There's some good talent over there. I'd like to get into football. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up the fantasy football game prediction here. We will be live again. This is recorded. We will be live again for the season Wednesday at 6:35. We'll come on here and talk about our bets leading into the season, college football and pro football. So we appreciate you for rocking with us with that. We'll start trying to get those links out a little bit earlier. I'm working on some things there. Pay, you got anything you want to say, what you got going on before we get out of here?
Yeah, just check out everything that's going on the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. We have our weekly Bears camp updates. We have also the Crosstown Classic, the Red Line Classic in Chicago. It's going to be fireworks between the White Sox and the Cubs, not just in the stands, but between on our White Sox show and our Cubs show of at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Check that out.
I like it. Hey, if you're listening or watching us on YouTube here on Running Through the Jungle channel, stay, because my boys are going to be here. Tim Lyons and Justin Lacey going to be holding it down as I am out at a little bit of a work. I don't know. I call it a meeting. It's really kind of a party, but we're a work function. So they're gonna hold it down for me. But yeah, check us out. We got lots of new stuff coming your way. I think we're gonna be basically on a regular Sunday day. We're gonna be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming live, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday coming to your house. So we'll only take Saturdays off. But check us out there. Check out the schedule coming soon, and check us out here week 1 as you can reach PayDirt.